Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Watch It Played Q&A. My name's Matthew, and together with a whole heap of your help, let's endeavour to answer all of the internet's burning board game questions. The first question this month is what we expect, and it's what games were you excited for at Essen? At the time of filming this, Essen has not happened. At the time of this being released, Essen has happened, and I wasn't there. I couldn't go. There was like kind of, let's not get into it. I couldn't go is the result. I have looked at all the games. I've been through the list. It's too many to count. You can count, there's literally a number. A lot of games. A lot of games I'm interested in. A lot of games I'm not. I had 60 games bookmarked at the time of now. They aren't all good, are they? There's no way. But 60 is too many. I would probably, if I was at Essen, want to have bought about 5. What are the games that I'm most excited about? I'm going to go through these with some pace. So, the first one, White Castle Duel. Why was this on my list? Because I love the White Castle. I love it so much. I looked at how many times I played that game on Board Game Arena, and it is many. I thought, almost 100 times I played this game. That's unheard of for me, other than the Castles of Burgundy. So more White Castle, I'm into it. It's a duel, of course. The next 2 games, and there's 2 here rather than 1. One of them's called Shikoku and the other one's called Kyushu. And they are 2 new games in the line of games that had Honshu and Hokkaido in them. And I really liked Honshu and Hokkaido. I really liked those games. There's a way to play them with trick-taking and a way to play them with drafting, and I think the way to play them with drafting is much better. They're card-laying games where you're laying cards on top of each other to make regions, and then there's different aspects of it where you want to have that's going to get resources, and this thing over here needs resources, that type of thing. Obviously, there's vaguely Japanese themed, so I was interested. You will see possibly more of that. I tried not to just have a list of Japanese games. But yeah, Shikoku and Kyushu, 2 new games in this line. Will I need both of them? I don't know about that. Will I get the one that looks the most pretty? Probably. But yeah, I'm excited about that. The next game I'll talk about quickly because we've mentioned it multiple times because I've been excited about it, and that's Quayside, the latest game in the Key series, the Key saga, the Key-niverse. And this one's all about boats and fishermen, and you're kind of like going around the board, and where you dock's important, and there's lots of resources and transforming things into things to get points, lots of, key flower type stuff. But a new game in this line, it looks cool, it looks big and involved, and I'm very, very excited about it. That's one I would have picked up, I think, if I was there. Next we have World Order, which is a cheat, because I played World Order. It's the sequel to, it's not the sequel, but it's the next game from the people who made Hegemony. It's nothing like Hegemony in the slightest. And I tell you what, World Order, yeah, it's so good. I was so, biggest surprise in gaming in the last year. World Order was so good. I would definitely have picked this up and then put it back down. And then thought, do I need this? And then thought, well, I do want, Matthew, you do want it. And I said, do I deserve, that kind of conversation we all have with ourselves. Yeah, World Order, I want it. I want it. Essentially, I want it. The next one is, I tell you what, it's everything I want from a game. It's a small card game from Reiner Knizia about Japan. Oh, yeah, Lisa, take me. It's called Ashiya Tokyo. And it's this card game about that's kind of like revolves around the number 21. It's about the people who push people onto trains, which I never saw when I was in Japan. But it's people who push people on the trains, and you happen to want to get 21 people. So it's that kind of card game based around the number 21. Yeah, Ashiya Tokyo. I saw that and thought, yes to this. The next game that I tell you what, that I was very excited about at Essen, and I probably would have picked up, is called Wolf Street. And the thing that interests me about that is it's the re-implementation of Panic on Wall Street, which is essentially an economic party game that plays up to 11 people. The original Panic on Wall Street looked like newspapery, you know, in theme. It was thematic to the actual Panic on Wall Street. But this one is animals, and it looks cute, and it looks like it comes in a smaller box. I thought, finally, a chance to get that one. I would have picked that one up if I had the chance. The next game that I was really interested in, I don't know if I'd have picked this one up, but it was one game I was really excited about and something I would definitely have wanted to have played if I could have got a chance. And that's a game called Rising Cultures. What interests me about this is, essentially, I'll just read. In Rising Cultures, you take control of one of 4 different civilizations, Egypt, Persia, Rome, or the Abbasid Caliphate, each with its own unique deck and abilities, and your goals to get points, I guess. I was like, ooh, I like the sound of that. Sounds a little bit Imperial Settlers to me, which is something I enjoy, but different. The designers I looked into is the designers who did Living Forest, which won some awards, Xi'an, which is a really cool game, and Tang Garden. So it comes with a bit of pedigree behind it. But I like the idea of taking on different cultures with this slightly unique deck and doing the going up tracts and getting points and getting abilities kind of stuff. So Rising Cultures, it's got a nice box cover as well. If not, definitely a board game box cover, if you know what I mean. The final game I was excited for at Essen is a game that I would 100% have been probably doing some kind of bizarre speed walk towards the 2F Spiel booth to go and grab, and that's the yearly small box little card game from Friedman Freeze. This year it's called Fearless. It's just a small little trick take. Last year was Fishing. Great game. This year it's Fearless. It's a trick taking card game where there's positive and negative points. The theme is that you're walking through the woods and scary monsters are around. I don't know how it achieves this theme. Who knows? But there's positive and negative points, and you're trying to get a balance of those cards that you collect. Regardless of what the game was about, or the mechanisms it told you about, I always buy the small box card game from Friedman Freeze every year from Essen. For the win, fantastic. Fuji Flush, fantastic. Fishing, fantastic. It's very rare that I go, feathers, fancy feathers. This game, best box cover in the world. Yeah, I always grab his games. They're always good. It's a no-brainer. That's the game I was very excited about. What games were you excited about for Essen? What were your top games that you're excited about? Did you go to Essen? Why? Don't tell me about it. I don't want it. If you went to Essen and you played any of those games, which ones were you vindicated in your board game perusals? Or in which games were you like, actually, pass on that one? I want to know all about it. What games are you excited for? What games did you get? What games should I go get? What games am I going to be sad that I missed that probably I'll never be able to find again? That happens every year at Essen. Let me know. Before our next question, here is the sponsor who in part helped make this episode possible.
Netherwatch is a cooperative horror deduction game where elite agents investigate supernatural disturbances, uncovering cryptic clues and confronting a terrifying demon. How terrifying? Well, he's the one who randomly scatters Lego bricks for you to step on in the middle of the night. And so the stage is set. Unique agent abilities, unpredictable adversaries, and escalating tension. Netherwatch blends strategic deduction with survival horror in an intense gaming experience. Each mission unfolds in 2 stages. First, players investigate and deduce the demon's identity while managing their sanity and avoiding deadly manifestations. Then they must perform a high-stakes banishment ritual before the demon claims them. But you can claim your copy of Netherwatch by following the link in this video's description to its GameFound campaign, where you can learn more and back it today.
Our next question is, are there any games /themes /mechanisms that you've fallen out of love with? Well, I'll tell you now, the things and the people I've fallen out in love with, I could write a very sad song. But yes, there is an answer to this question, and that is trick-taking games. I've kind of fallen out of love with trick-taking games. Now, that isn't to say I don't love trick-taking games, even though it does sound like that's what I said. It's new trick-taking games. I'm going to say it. I kind of think there's enough trick-taking games. I know that in the past segment, I literally talked about at least one trick-taking game, Fearless. But I kind of feel like there's enough trick-taking card games out there. I feel dirty saying these things because I was the trick-taking champion. I tell you, before other people, of note, there's no need to get into it now, but I was the one hunting down old weird German trick-taking card games when I was a mere lad. Trick-taking is so narrow. It's trick-taking. And what you can do to change that is limited in scope before it turns away from being a trick-taking card game. You know, there's games that have trick-taking in them that are so far away from that being the main mechanism that you can't really call it a trick-taking card game. Brian Boru, for instance, Arcs, trick-taking game. Okay, if you say so. And there's the other side of it where, okay, this is that trick-taking card game, but now the numbers go up to 13. Or now there's an extra round. Or now something else tiny has been changed. And I'm remaking a game and releasing it. And I find that happens so often that there's either it goes way off out of left field to be recognizable, or it's just so similar to something that we already have that I just think, do I need this? Is this better than David and Goliath or Niet? I'm not saying there are no good new trick-taking card games, but I feel like we are slightly, I feel this way, over inundated with new ones that don't really offer anything particularly new. Now, I'm not against these games existing. I'm not against people loving them, buying them. Maybe that's not new to this person who just buys this new trick-taking card game because they like the new art that's very 99% similar to this other game. Maybe it's not new to them because they never played the other game. So it's fine. I'm all for these games existing. I just often find myself going, oh, that looks interesting. And then I read the rules and go, okay, I own that. I own 2 games that do mostly what this game does. Yeah, so for me, I've kind of fallen out of love with trick-taking games, but I still love playing them and owning them and hunting down weird old trick-taking games and all of everything about them. But I'm just, if I see a new game and it says trick-taking card game, I have found myself going, okay, and moving right along. And that's what surprised me. When I was looking at all the games I was interested in for Essen, I went, okay, trick-taking card game. No thanks. That's never happened before. So something has changed, in my mind at least. How about you? What have you fallen out of love with? Don't say me, because I never knew you were. And now I'm sad. We could have had something special. What games, themes and mechanisms have you fallen out of love with, and why? Has something else replaced them? Something more interesting? Something I need to know about? Get really involved with? Get a new hobby? Buy a bunch of stuff? Leave all that stuff after 6 weeks in a shed? Let me know. Our final question this month. It's a pretty straightforward one for once, and it's, with 2024 almost a full year behind us, what was the best game? Okay. What was the best game of 2024? We have a year of hindsight. It's about now in the year where we can look back and say, okay, I finally played pretty much everything that came out in 2024. For me, the answer jumped into my mind very, very quickly. But I did look. I own 22 games from 2024, which honestly to me sounds like far too many games. It's too many games. I think I'd be good if I just owned 5 of them. 5 games in total. Too many games. But out of the 22 games that I own, I played a bunch more from 2024. And the best game for me was Cities. I loved Cities. I think it's just fantastic. It's a very light game in many ways. It's certainly very simple to understand and play. You essentially have 4 different things that you are trying to grab. You want all of them, but you can't. You've got to really decide what you want the most, because you have to take it first. You are taking tiles to build out your city, like plots. You're taking the pieces of your city to build up those plots, the buildings. You're taking tiles, which are these little extra like features, water features, because you want a bunch of them to score points, and features in the parks, because you want a bunch of them to score points. And you're taking cards. This is what makes the game so fantastic, because the cards you take indicate how you personally are going to score that game. You know, I get 1 point for every blue building that's 2 pieces high. But then another one of those cards comes up and you grab it, and now you're scoring 2 points for every 2-story blue building, and you might be able to get a third. You can kind of like really combo your point scoring, and for that I love it. But it's so simple. You just place a piece out, grab it, put in your city in the way that scores you the most points. And there's a bunch of different cities to build. By that I mean there's a bunch of end game goals that you can go for depending on the city that you like. If you're building Sydney, these are the 3 things that you can score extra bonus points. Normally about 7, 8, or 9, or is it 5, 6, and 7 points or something like that. So they give you goals to go for. Maybe you're building Rio de Janeiro and it's something slightly different. So it adds replayability. Just the ease of the game, the way the game looks, how quick it is to play, how quick it is to teach, how satisfying, like the ratio there of how easy everything is to get it on the table, get it played and all that type of stuff, to how much fun I have with the game. I love it. It's my favorite game of 2024, I think. It's really good. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. Some people's favorite game of 2024 is something I probably grossly dislike, and that's fine. But for me, cities. What was your favorite game of last year? Was it something you expected? Was it something you're excited about? Was it something that you went, I hated this to start off with? Let me know. Tell me what it was. I'm interested to find out what it is. And if you can come up with a good enough reason, I'll play it to spite you and then tell you it was terrible. I probably won't do that. I'll probably go, oh, this is quite good. Yeah, let me know. I'd love to find out. And that is it for another episode of the What You Played Q&A. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I hope you've had a wonderful October. We look forward to the wintry months ahead. And I'll see you in the next episode. I just appreciate you. Until then, be kind to yourself and play some games. Bye, everyone.